He has embraced that bloodbath phrase, even though he got a lot of criticism for it from a speech he gave in Ohio, where he was referring to what he saw as bad news for the car makers.
Wisconsin right now, and we're going to be back there quite a bit too. We're going to put it all out, because if we don't win on November 5th, I think our country is going to cease to exist.
Congressman, in the last minute, you just said Donald Trump is going to win. If Donald Trump does not win, will you and the rest of the Republicans and the supporters of Donald Trump accept that he did not win and that the fix is not in? Because that's very crucial for us to have fair and safe elections.
If the elections are fair and safe, I always support the result of the election. If they are not, I have concerns.
So if Trump wins, it's fair. If Biden wins, it's not fair. Is that what you're saying, Congressman?
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Yeah, newsflash, this is their exact logic. Win, and they'll make angel wings in a pile of mail-in ballots. But lose, then it's back to destabilizing democracy 101. And when Fox News is onto your stick, you know it's pretty bad.
And what I am saying is, I don't even think about him not winning, because in my mind, and many Americans' minds, including middle-of-the-road independents and Democrats, the future of our nation and of the republic is at risk.
They're terrified about what might happen if Joe Biden doesn't win.
Terrified why?
What will happen to this democracy.
And Trump's got enough incest baggage to ground that plane that he has.
As the road to November narrows, we've witnessed the clear and obvious GOP efforts to downplay January 6th. Everything from minimizing the events of that day and calling it just a walkthrough, as Mike Johnson referred to it.
So I made a commitment immediately after I got the gavel that we would start releasing that. Originally, we were trying to blur some of the faces to protect the innocent, people who were just there and just happened to be walking through the building. But then we realized a lot of this is out there in the public anyway. And so, yeah, we're releasing America as fast as we possibly can. We had to hire new staff to do it. They're uploading it. It's a 24-hour operation. And all that tape will be out there as soon as possible. But 13,000 hours are available now. Yeah.
Yes, you can send me a couple thousand hours. I'll work through it with you if you, need a little extra help.
To then referring to convicted criminals as hostages. Yes, it never fails to amaze me how Republicans can say with a full chest that they back the blue before coddling people who literally blooded said blue uniforms with flagpoles.
It's like the hypocrisy is incredible to watch them going from January 6th, just a normal tour in the Capitol. What do you mean to now January 6th, you take our people, they're hostages.
Right.
Release them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much more about just the day of January 6th and what happened. It's about democracy, protecting these institutions, sending good people to serve in these institutions. Yeah. How do you talk to voters about these big, almost not ambiguous, but just kind of big picture topics that people might roll their eyes at or glaze over?
Well, that's the thing. January 6th, like I said, the democracy is more than just January 6th. Accountability serves two purposes. It brings some type of restitution or healing to those that were aggrieved. And also, it provides a deterrent to keep things from happening again.
And the reason for such is to pave way for a repeat if the election doesn't go their way in November. Deny that at your peril, but the strategy that comes from the top down, by the way, could not be more apparent. Ripped right out of the run-up to the 2020 election, Trump is already sowing seeds of doubt despite every single court case alleging fraud last time around being thrown out.
First of all, I won in 2020 by a lot, okay? Let's get that straight.
There were lawsuits, more than 50 of them by your lawyers, some in front of judges that you appointed.
Look at Wisconsin.
That came out with no evidence.
Wisconsin has practically admitted it was rigged. Other states are doing the same right now, and it's continuing on.
There have been reviews of every potential case of voter fraud.
I mean, do we remember what Bernie Sanders had said? He basically predicted what Trump was going to do.
Here is my worry. What polls show and what studies have shown is that for whatever reason, Democrats are more likely to use mail-in ballots. Republicans are more likely to walk into polling booths on election day. It is likely that the first votes that will be counted will be those people who came in on election day, which will be Republican. And here is the fear, and I hope everybody hears that. It could well be, and I don't know what's going to happen, nobody does, but it could well be that at 10 o'clock on election night, Trump is winning in Michigan, he's winning in Pennsylvania, he's winning in Wisconsin, and he gets on the television, he says, "Thank you, Americans, for re-electing me. It's all over. Have a good day." But then the next day and the day following, all of those mail-in ballots start getting counted, and it turns out that Biden has won those states. At which point Trump says, see, I told you the whole thing was fraudulent. I told you those mail-in ballots were crooked. And we're not going to leave office.
And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you.
And it's the same again now. Trump knows that his contingent will be on hand to contest the results in 2024 if they don't go his way. And when he was asked about it on Fox News over the weekend, New York Congressman Jeff Van Drew managed to accomplish that also difficult feat of saying a lot of words without actually saying anything at all.
Well, listen, I'm sure the Democratic side will say that a lot of their money comes from the more grassroots, but let's keep going here, because once the federal contribution limit is maxed out, the remainder of money raised will go from Trump tonight will go to the RNC. You've got state political parties, and to the Save America PAC, which, as you well know, helps pay Trump's astronomical legal bills. So Trump himself, he's a billionaire. But are you okay with campaign donations going towards his legal bills? Because you just mentioned that he does have those smaller donors who are using their hard-earned money to try to support his political aspirations.
Understood. So you got to realize, I believe the smaller donors, just like the big donors, realize that Donald Trump isn't being prosecuted. He's being persecuted, man. This is unheard of in American political or judicial or legal history. It really is. And so people understand.
Now, is it unheard of because, but let me ask you, sir, is it unheard of because this is the first time you have a former president stepping into the arenas, if you will, that he has stepped into? Maybe that's why it's unprecedented, because we've never had a former president behave this way.
No, it's unprecedented because there's so much at risk. It's unprecedented because, quite frankly, the left is really concerned that he has a real shot here. He's going to win.
Congressman, in the last minute, you just said Donald Trump is going to win. If Donald Trump does not win, will you and the rest of the Republicans and the supporters of Donald Trump accept that he did not win and that the fix is not in? Because that's very crucial for us to have fair and safe elections.
If the elections are fair and safe, I always support the result of the election. If they are not, I have concerns. And the bottom line is, I don't think...
So if Trump wins, it's fair. If Biden wins, it's not fair. Is that what you're saying, Congressman?
No, Arthel, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, I don't even think about him not winning, because in my mind, and many Americans' minds, including middle-of-the-road independents and Democrats, the future of our nation and of the Republic is at risk. This is not about saving the Republican Party. This is about saving the Republic.
He refuses, as many of those coddling up to Trump continue to do. They will admit defeat if that is to be the case in November. I mean, just look at the band of cult followers who reprimanded January 6th with every bit of their Velcro backbone before going back on their word when the cult leader invited them to the table.
You deleted a statement that was on your website recently calling January 6th
publicly
a tragic
available
day.
on
Why
all of
was
my
it deleted though?
I have all my public statements from the current Congress. You can access all of my previous public statements from.
But why was it deleted from your website?
I only have the press releases from this current Congress. All of those statements are available since I was elected on multiple social media accounts, and you can access it there. Just
so it
like
wasn't
everyone
a retraction of what you said?
I have no, certainly not. I have press releases for this current Congress, and the reality is you as a journalist can go through all of my official social media accounts and find all of my previous statements.
There's no integrity in swearing allegiance to Donald Trump, none. And all those who continue to enable this war on democracy, shame on you if there is to be a repeat of one of the darkest days in modern American history, because January 6, 2021 did not happen in a vacuum. It accumulated after months of answers like this, where people who swore an oath to protect the Constitution and uphold democracy sold it for a mouthful of snake oil and a $60 Bible. It is disgusting.
What is it going to take to shake people out of their slumber? To remember the ignorance, the petty authoritarianism, the global instability, the undoing of American justice and democracy that Donald J. Trump represents.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.